Shalom. This is the year 2, semester 2, philosophy of religion class assignment. There are 5 questions to be treated in this presentation, and they are as follows. 1. Discuss the basic categories about the arguments about God. 2. What are the potential approaches to religious beliefs? Discuss in detail. 3. What are the methods of critical rationalism? 4. Fideism is taking a leap of faith. Do you agree with this assertion? Explain your position on this. And 5. Explanatory power. Does this view explain things coherently? Discuss with a basic life experience. Question 1. Discuss the basic categories about the arguments of God. The arguments about God can be broadly classified into 2 main categories: theistic arguments and atheistic arguments. Theistic arguments aim to provide reasons and evidence for the existence of God, while atheistic arguments seek to challenge and refute the belief in God's existence. Under the theistic arguments, which we'll treat first, are cosmological arguments, teleological arguments, moral arguments, and ontological arguments. Cosmological arguments assert that the existence of the universe demands the existence of a cause or necessary being, which is often identified as God. The cosmological argument can be further divided into the Kalam cosmological argument, the argument from contingency, and the argument from the prime mover. Teleological arguments center on the idea that the complexity, order, and purpose found in the universe point to the existence of an intelligent design or designer. The teleological argument often presents evidence of the natural world, such as biological structures or the fine-tuning of the universe. Moral arguments are the line of reasoning that posit that objective moral values and duties are best explained by the existence of a moral lawgiver, who is God. The moral argument suggests that the existence of universal moral laws points to a moral framework established by a higher authority. Ontological arguments attempt to establish the existence of God based on the concept of a being that possesses all perfections. They propose that God is the greatest possible being and as such must exist in reality. Now, the atheistic arguments, under which are the problem of evil, lack of empirical evidence, inconsistencies and contradictions, and alternative explanations. The problem of evil questions the compatibility of the existence of an all-powerful, all-knowing, and benevolent God with the presence of evil and suffering in the world. It suggests that the existence of suffering contradicts the notion of a perfect deity. The lack of empirical evidence argue that there is no empirical evidence or scientific proof for the existence of God, thereby inferring that belief in God is ultimately baseless or unwarranted. Inconsistencies and contradictions. These are arguments that often point to discrepancies or contradictions within religious contexts or theological doctrines to challenge the consistency or coherence of religious beliefs. And then finally, under atheistic arguments, we have alternative explanations. These explanations propose alternative explanations for the origins and nature of the universe, morality, and human experiences without the necessity of invoking a divine being. It is important to note that these categories represent a generalized overview. and specific arguments within each category may diverge or overlap in different ways. Furthermore, these arguments often generate ongoing debates and discussions among theologians, philosophers, and scientists. Question 2. What are the potential approaches to religious beliefs? Discuss in detail. There are several potential approaches to religious beliefs, each offering different perspectives and ways of understanding the nature of religion. These approaches can be classified or categorized into philosophical, sociological, psychological, and theological frameworks. Let's discuss each approach in detail. 1. The philosophical approach. We have under this heading rationalism, empiricism, agnosticism, and atheism. Rationalism. This approach seeks to understand religion through reason, logic, and critical thinking. Rationalists may examine religious claims and doctrines for coherence and consistency and question beliefs that are not supported by evidence or logical arguments. In contrast, empiricism emphasizes the importance of sensory experience and evidence in understanding religious phenomena. They may explore religious experiences, rituals, or traditions through direct observation and investigation. Agnosticism. Agnostics argue that it is not possible to know whether or not God or higher powers exist. They may believe that claims about the existence of deities are beyond our finite understanding and scientific measurements, thus preferring to suspend judgment on matters of religious belief. And then we have atheism. Atheists reject the existence of any deities or divine beings. They often base their beliefs on the absence of evidence or logical arguments for the existence of God. And they also rely on scientific explanation to understand the world and human experiences.